Welcome into Jags A.M. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Ogier are with me on Victory Monday. It's been a while since we've gotten to say that for the Jaguars, as they've had that losing skid, but they finally got a win, and they got a win over the Titans this week. So let's start out with our big things. Big thing number one is finally. The beginning of that game was not pretty. It wasn't good football to watch, but a win is a win.
I mean, I know it's really hard to win in the NFL, and I've learned that the hard way. And I've always, followed that mantra of just a win's a win, and you can play really well and lose, and play not so good and win. And it just takes that one or two plays each game. So I told the young guys that's the learning lesson here, and I feel like we played with a little bit more swag today. And I know we're going to continue to do that. Offense, defense, special teams, we're not going to be scared. So we just got to keep that going.
Brian, this doesn't essentially change the outlook of the season, but it is nice to win, and it's nice to recap after a win.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little juice in the building, right? I mean, it's not the same energy as if you're playing meaningful games that all have significance in the standings. But everybody comes in with a little bit less anxiety, with a little bit more energy. For John and I, for you in the locker room, to talk to a guy who's got a little brighter eyes and isn't so quick to want to walk away because he didn't want to talk about what happened last week. All of this gives them, I think, enough energy and momentum. You have the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Colts. Now, the Colts are a team that is playing into the final few weeks with a shot. They're on the fringe of being a playoff team. But you should be able to, if you're properly motivated and energized, go play your best football on Sunday against the Jets and see if you can build a little something, John. That's what a win means when you get one, especially at the end like they did yesterday, where they had to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. First off, we know Mac Jones has guts because he can pull off that outfit.
I love it.
And it was absolutely, hey, all hail Mac. What you realized, or what I realized in the locker room, it's easy to forget when you're analyzing what's going wrong and when you're in the middle of a disappointing season, and you and I, Brian and Kai, we start thinking about the long term and what it means. It's easy to forget that these guys are players and they want to win. And the joy for Tank Bigsby, for Josh Allen, Doug talked about it, that's real stuff. I get that a win after you're eliminated in a way doesn't feel like a win. But for a day, let them enjoy it. Good for them.
Our big thing number two is worse. Now, I mentioned that was not a great football game to watch. There was not a lot of good fundamentals out there, but Jaguars not good. Titans are worse, and it's always good to beat the Titans.
This is a rivalry game, This is a rivalry game, you know what I mean? So, hopefully, I don't know if they told them that before the game, but I know our message before the game was this is a rivalry game. So whatever way you need to feel to get that energy, to get that aggression up, that's the type of game it's going to be, and you could tell there was that type of energy.
John, we got a cameo from you in the back there. I know you heard it live. It's a little different when you play the Titans, even in a season like this.
Yeah, and just for clarification, I was a little mad because Josh was wearing my necklace.
You borrowed your chain for that.
I got it back after the game.
Okay,
I had it on the team flight, so all's good. And again, with Josh, it was, I think the theme in the locker room was just that he had, I think, the best quote, and I'm paraphrasing, "It's good to feel this way because I don't want to feel sad anymore." And I thought that really summed it up, to be honest with you. I don't think anything that happened yesterday will be remembered in the long run. I'm not sure that they built toward that much. And I'm not sure that a lot of the guys playing will be, I don't know what the future is. But they got that win, and I do think for some of these young guys, getting a couple down the stretch matters because you got to feel it. And I know fans have heard that before, but I think it's still true.
I would agree completely that those guys, Brian Thomas Jr., Tank Bigsby, Brenton Strange, we can keep going. The roster has a lot of young players that need to feel the success. I'll say this, the Jaguars were supposed to be better than the Titans this year. We expected that they would be better than the Titans this year. Will Levis, in his first full season as the starting quarterback there, they changed from Derrick Henry. They did have a very good defensive front. But the Jaguars, other than the early going where they couldn't stop the run, the Jaguars were able to sort of, outside of their own mistakes, kind of dictate the pace of action. They didn't let the Titans get away from them. And when they had to turn it on, absolutely had no other choice. They went down the field twice in the fourth quarter to win the ball game. I can tell you this, the people in Tennessee this morning are wondering what's up, where they're at, where they're headed. The Jaguars know they're going to get Trevor Lawrence back next year and at least have their quarterback in place. I think Tennessee's got some more work to do there.
Brian, you touched on some of this. We'll do our final big thing, which is good enough. They didn't play great, obviously, but they were good enough to get a win. And we did see certain players shining and certain players playing well, whether it was Brian Thomas Jr. or Tank Bigsby. Brian, there were several different players that we saw kind of come into their own when they needed to.
Brian Thomas Jr. is a guy that you can't throw the ball to enough. And I know that's been a storyline for weeks. And Doug Peterson said in his postgame with Bucky Brooks on the radio yesterday that they made the decision at halftime that they were really going to force it. Which begs the question, why didn't you do that in the first half? Of course, Doug joked about that. And there are circumstances and situations that prevent that from happening. But the more success that Brian Thomas Jr. has, the more success Tank Bigsby is going to have, that Brenton Strange is going to have. When you have that one guy, John, who opens everything up, then Mac has many, many more options. It'll help the offensive line play better when the ball is getting out quickly, going down the field, stretching things. And of course, when the offense is able to sustain a drive, the defense, you noticed yesterday, almost split time of possession for the first time in a long time. Everything is better when those young players are having success.
Yeah, I think they tried to get the ball to BTJ early. I think that was one of the ones that Matt got picked on. And then they didn't have the ball, frankly, a whole lot in second quarter. So it's the old thing where it's hard to get the guy the ball when you're not in the flow and their team has the ball all the time. I thought along these same lines, Jarrian Jones, if you're looking for guys who are starting to show that they can be something to build around, they don't win that game if he doesn't play the way he did in the second half. 2 pass breakups, the sack, he looked like an edge rusher. There's something about him, Ventrell Miller, guys like that who play with a passion, that it's hard to not see them being the building blocks of this thing going forward.
Yeah, and the young defensive tackles, too. I mean, Mason Smith has played a lot the last 2 weeks, and he's been reached a couple of times. But I also saw him yesterday moving guys in the pocket, which is something they desperately need, the presence in the middle. There's a lot of young players to be excited about, and yesterday was good for all of them.
Absolutely. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. We're going to go over the tape on Victory Monday.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguar season at Firehouse Subs. Receive 50% off on any sub when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Download the Firehouse Subs app for offer details. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available in the Firehouse Subs app.
Don't you love the sounds of the holiday season? The bells, the sleighs. Woohoo! If so, your holiday's now even more magical because now during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, you can take home your favorite Hyundai with some of the season's greatest savings.
Drive away now in the Santa Fe with 1.99% APR for 72 months. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offer ends January 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Register your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2024 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/four-legged fan club to sign up today. Welcome back in. It's Victory Monday. We get to look at some tape from yesterday, and they got a win, so that's always good. I will say the first half of that football game was not something that was enjoyable to watch, probably for anybody at that point.
No.
That was just bad football. But we're going to start there so that we know what was good in the second half. So Mac Jones had 2 interceptions in that first half. I mean, the Titans didn't score a ton, so it wasn't a huge thing, but obviously you never want to see interceptions there. He's trying to force the ball at that point. And I was a little concerned that we were going to have
the
one
deep
of
ball.
those things.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to force the ball deep there, and Mac is standing in the pocket. I thought he should have gotten rid of it about a second before he did. He took a shot just as he was releasing it, and I'd have to go back and ask him about it, but it seemed to me like if he got rid of it just a little more decisively right there, he hits Brian at the 30-yard line, and Brian has a chance to get to the outside.
Yeah, it wasn't a great throw. It looked like Brian might have stopped short a little bit. I have no idea. I mean,
and that might be why he didn't throw it.
Yeah, and I think it was also third down, so there was a little bit of a throw it up and make something happen, or you don't lose that much field position. Look, it's not going to be a great offense.
No,
so
we should know that right now.
And I think Mac's point that he made on the podium was very interesting. When I asked him, he told me it's a great question, by the way, which meant a lot.
Oh, were you the great question?
Oh,
excellent.
Who
else would it be?
Was I the great question? But he said that in the first couple of games that he played, he had bad first halves and he let it affect him. He said he went around and told everybody, hey, that's not happening today. So credit to him because he wasn't great in the first half and he was a lot better in the second.
Let's talk a little bit about that second interception and then that play right before the end of the half because they were trying to score before the half. And then you looking at this, it's kind of scrambling around, his feet are caught up, and obviously I've not ever been in that situation. I'm sure it's very difficult to make a decision, but you're like, no, why?
I was hoping, Brian, that his decision would be to lose 6 yards.
Right.
So we could see Cam Little go for 67.
Yeah, you would have put him out there for sure.
It almost happened.
Yeah.
And
I'm kidding, but I am to the point now with Cam where at the end of halves, when they get around that 50, I'm kind of hoping the measurement works out because I think he can hit it.
It's easy to say that you'd like him just to understand the circumstance and go down and not throw the ball up like that. But do you have any doubt that Patrick Mahomes would have made that throw as well? I mean, he does it all the time. The difference is he's throwing it to Travis Kelce.
Who's catching it.
Yeah, who's catching it there. So.
But then with the 1 second on the clock as well, because that led to this play, which if you guys watch college football on Saturday, looked very reminiscent of what happened to Georgia's quarterback at halftime of their game, which he got lit up as Josh Hines Allen, who talked about this after the game, said, oh, no one's going to chip me. I can just run. And this was the result.
Yeah. Josh's line was funny there, too, because he was saying to himself, oh, I guess they trust their boy.
Yeah,
and he trusted his line and didn't expect it because he could see.
This is where you think that sometimes some of these young coaches think it's mad. Hey, we got a second left. Let's throw it up. Has throwing it up done it? You put your quarterback in harm's way.
Why not? Yes.
You don't do this. You take a knee and you go into halftime. You're leading 3-0. You regroup and try to get better. It's not a video game, coach.
So Will Levis is playing with an AC joint sprain. He's been playing with that, and I'm sure that did not help, but he did come back and play in the second half of this game. That's when we saw the defense kind of turn up a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure Josh Sack juiced them up, but Jarrian Jones, we talked about, John has a pass breakup, and then his sack as well. Excuse me, his blitz sack as well. Oh, he had a day. He was all over the place.
Yeah, and again, some guys are football players, right? And puts themselves in position to make plays, breaks on the ball. He said something interesting in the post game. That after about week 4 or 5, he started to get used to the pace of the game. And when that happens, now you can let your instincts take over. I mean, that's a huge sack. It gets them the ball back. Then he comes back and he has 2 pass breakups in the fourth quarter. He was out there having fun playing in the backyard, and that's always fun. And he's a guy that can do that. And Doug mentioned after the game, he got down. He had some bend on that pass rush. Maybe he's the third pass rusher.
We're getting an edge.
He's one of those guys, along with Ventrell Miller. We talked about him, all those young guys, but he's a guy with a lot of potential to be that guy in the middle of that, to be the nickel guy next year. I mean, he's strong, he can blitz, he can play the run, and more than that, he's tough. He's willing to put his nose in there and mix it up. We saw that with Trevor.
Yeah, and as might be expected with the young corner, hey, could he play outside? I have no doubt he could play outside, but nickel in this league now is really a starting position, and it's a position where it's really hard to find guys who are aware enough of everything going on around them. To me, that blitz and maybe shows you that he needs to be the nickel and not worry so much about, should he have the glamour of playing on the outside. He feels like a nickelback to me, and that's a compliment.
Absolutely. Let's talk about 2 of those other guys we've been talking about, Brian Thomas Jr. and Tank, because they kind of led to that one scoring drive that the Jaguars had, 1 touchdown drive that they had. This broken down play, Mac Jones said maybe I should have thrown it earlier, but it all worked out in the end. And Brian Thomas Jr. just showing, this was after they'd been kind of force feeding him the ball in the second half, really got him going, and he's just a difference maker when he has the ball in his hand.
Well, that goes to what John was just saying. This is not going to be a good offense the rest of the way. They're going to have to ham and egg it a little bit and play backyard football, and that's exactly what this is. And it shows you the instincts of Thomas to be available for his quarterback. Mac's not a guy that gets out of the pocket a lot, so he was waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about scheme or play calling. It was funny, Mac after the game sort of chastised himself. I shouldn't have left the pocket. Your boy Gene Fournette correctly pointed out that him leaving the pocket was what drew Arden Key in. So they really didn't have that much of an idea what was going on, and that's okay because they made plays in the moment. And a credit to them, and credit BTJ, again, for being aware enough to make that play happen.
Also, as much as we talk about BTJ, it really opens things up for Tank. Whenever Tank plays well and scores, the team seems to win. So that's a nice combination. We can get the running game going, get Tank going as well. And then finally, the Titans did have a chance at this. They had 2 chances. I'm going to show you the first one because the second one wasn't as fun. They were about to score and couldn't get it done. And it was nice to see the defense come through on that. Calvin Ridley, obviously, with a big catch. And kind of then his going out of bounds as well. I don't know if his momentum would have allowed him to turn around anyway, but he kind of went out before they could get the first down at the goal, near the goal line. I think it was at the 2. They could have gotten a first down.
Yeah, that
given
play,
themselves new downs, and he didn't get there.
Very subtly, I thought Travon kind of made that play. He was over there and sort of got his hands up. Levis had to throw here about a second late. I think people up there were sort of criticizing Calvin. I don't
think he could have turned at that point. But.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tough.
I go back to what he said to me in Dallas last preseason. You know how good I am, right?
I'm not sure he's that good.
I don't know if he's that good. Maybe he thinks he
Listen,
is.
you say it, you better be able to play it right there, and he didn't.
And then couldn't get it done on that. They also had that 4-down sequence in the first half, which was a little questionable as well. And it's nice to be on the other side of this for once. It's very good.
Even after that, you kind of had to hold your breath because
a little bit because they gave the ball right back.
3 and out and put it right back, but. That's where the Jaguars defense made enough plays. They had not been able to do it. Remember the Packers game, right? Yeah. Game is tied. You're thinking, all right, there's an opportunity here, and they gave up the big play down the field. Yesterday, they didn't give up the plays.
One play we didn't touch on, too, that led to the 4th down was when Travon almost killed the running back.
Yes.
I thought that was as good a play of the game as there was.
Yeah, and it sort of forced it. So, again, it's one of those, we need more guys around here who make that big play in the big moment. Yeah. Not a lot of players in the NFL could have made that play.
If that game goes to 10-0 at that point because Pollard scores, you don't know that you get the chance to win.
No, you don't. All right, stay with us. We'll give you our hot takes coming up after the break.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
The 2024 season is Pawsome. Register your pet for the Four-Legged Fan Club, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your furry friend can access exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Fan club members will be automatically entered to win the Pet of the Game sweepstakes, with 2 Jags tickets and sideline passes for pet owners, and the chance for your pet to be featured on the video boards as Pet of the Game. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/Four-Legged Fan Club to sign up.
Football is back. Celebrate with a gay Duval meal deal. Score 2 Roller Grill favorites and a 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.50. That means you can choose any 2 to pair with your Coke. 2 hot dogs, 2 tornadoes, 2 roller bites, or mix and match. Whether you're stopping for a quick snack or tailgating with friends, this is a victory for every Jags fan. Deal happening now through January 2nd, 2025. Stop by to purchase in store.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit ridesmartflorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Move the freight. Magellan Transport voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at magellanlogistics.com.
Yeah, I think just as the game went on, he did a good job getting open. He was open all game, but I just kind of have to give him the ball earlier and let him settle in. You know, as a rookie, I've been there. You want to get some catches, get going, feeling good, and all the other guys too. Like they're making plays and running backs and Tank on that touchdown and stuff. So we just got to find a way to be a little bit more consistent. But like I said, we didn't roll over and quit this time, and that's important.
Welcome back to Jags A.M. this morning on Victory Monday, and we're going to do our Firehouse Sub hot takes. I'm going first because Mac Jones talked a little bit about it. Game plan strategy. Mine's a blistering hot take.
Go for it.
They should keep throwing the ball to that number 7 guy.
I've heard he's good.
I know you all have been saying this for weeks, and I know you're dying and you're pulling your hair out because you wish they did this 2 months ago, but Brian Thomas Jr. is special. Doug Peterson said they made a point in the second half to go to him no matter what and kind of force-feed him the ball, and this is the result. I mean, it was not pretty, but they got a win out of it, and they got Brian Thomas Jr. going. And if this offense is going to be anything going forward this season, next season as well, they need to develop him, continue to get him better, and showcase his skills, and it's good to see it.
You know, Doug probably was a little tongue-in-cheek talking to Bucky afterwards where he intimated, well, you know, maybe everyone else is smarter than us. They know to get the ball to him. It's just that the practicality of a football coach comes in first place. He's like, look, if they've got double coverage over here and we've got a guy over here, you know, let's take what we can get, especially with an offense, John, that's been struggling. So I think the point that he really could have made a little bit better is, oh, the hell with it. No matter what, throw it at 7.
Do it.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes, frankly, a little more sense now. in week 5, you had Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk playing, who, whatever the production of Gabe Davis, he was a starter. So you're trying to get the ball to everybody. Brian Thomas Jr., much like Jarrian Jones, whatever was said about him during the draft, this kid is a rare combination of elite ability. There's really nothing he lacks. And he's a player. Like, a lot of these guys come into the league when they have Brian Thomas Jr.'s skill set, and they lack that awareness. He would be good if he was slightly less skillful, because he's a very good player in terms of mental.
John, what's your hot take for us today?
I'll have to read it.
I'll remind you.
Good for these, good for these guys and good for a good guy, meaning Mac Jones.
Oh, I love Mac.
Look, I don't believe that Mac's destiny is to be a 10-year starter in the NFL. I do believe his destiny is to be a 15-year player in the NFL, or as long as he wants to, because he's a great guy to have around. He's going to be prepared. He can get you, if he was playing for a really, really good team, which guess what, right now he's not, he could be a backup and get you 2-2 when the starter's hurt for 4 games. That's what you want from a backup. And handles it well, cares about it, won for his hometown team, good. As I said earlier in the show, this is not going to be something that we look back on and say, this changed the trajectory of the franchise.
Yeah, no.
But good for these guys. There's a bunch of good guys in this locker room. They want to win. It was fun to be around it.
If it changes the trajectory of Mac Jones staying in Jacksonville,
sure,
I'd be all for that. I love that guy. I love the suit. I just love the quiet, understated swagger that he brings. He's fun.
I like happy Mac, and
yeah,
a win will make, I think, everybody in this building
Love
much
that
happier.
guy.
So that's good. Stay with us here. We'll talk to you a little bit about what's
Wait, I don't
coming
get one?
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I skipped you.
Hold on. It was the hottest of
There's
all.
the hottest of
no,
all
it
the
was, I'm kidding. No,
This was going to be the best show ever.
Yeah, you're right. There was a lot of chatter yesterday, social media posts, about how the Jaguars blew the draft by winning the ball game yesterday.
Okay.
I think Adam Schefter had something out, and they went from 1st overall to 5th. Who cares? I get the Travis Hunter thing. I'd like to have him here too. But for all the reasons that we've espoused here today, the Tank Bigsby's, the Jarrian Jones, the Ventrell Millers, the Brian Thomas Jr.'s, all those young guys, they've got to have some success at the end of the year. They need to play their best football. These last 4 games are very important for young players, for time on task. And when you can do it with a little bit more juice, a little bit more energy, it means that the reps at the end of the year will be more valuable to them. And you want that going into next April in the offseason more than you worry about whether you're picking 1st or 5th or 7th or whatever it is.
I've always thought too, Brian, it's sort of a silly topic, and I understand the topic. But players and coaches are not going to try to lose.
No.
So it's sort of out of the control, and I think they're going to win a couple games here the rest of the way. This one game in early December, I guess it could hurt the draft status, but I mean, obviously it did. But you can't play or coach that way, and you can't expect him to. There's no tanking for Travis.
No,
That's
listen,
not the thing.
Right. In 2020, it was full-on tank for Trevor.
Sure.
But that's because it's a quarterback.
And you have your quarterback
And
now.
you have that. So
it was also a team capable of losing 15 without trying.
And look, I think the Jaguars are going to end up, in the top 5 to 6 players. And this has been said already to be a 7 or 8 player first round of impactful players. So you're going to get a player, and the Jaguars need them at nearly every position. So you'll find yourself with a good player.
That's the other thing. It's not you just need a quarterback or just one thing. This team needs several things, so I'm sure they will find someone that fits.
And selfishly, it's better for us.
Yes.
It's more fun to talk about winning.
And Jags fans, I know you want a good draft pick, but it's nice to win a little bit, okay? We don't want to lose out for the rest of the way. So enjoy this one. Now we will go to break, and we'll come back and tell you a little bit about what's going on this week.
quality replacement window made with Fibrance material, which is 2 times stronger than vinyl, delivered through a stress-free process. Welcome to Renewal by Andersen. Get the peace of mind knowing Renewal by Andersen handles everything from start to finish. With one call, you'll enjoy working with the best people, exclusive products, and superior process. It's the people, it's the process, it's the product. For a limited time, buy one, get one 40% off all windows and doors, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Renewal by Andersen. A better way to a better window. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Lou Ray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Lou Ray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Don't you love the sounds of the holiday season? The bells, the sleighs. Woohoo! If so, your holiday's now even more magical because now during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, you can take home your favorite Hyundai with some of the season's greatest savings.
Drive away now in the Santa Fe with 1.99% APR for 72 months. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offer ends January 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Listen up. Just like football, timing is everything. Only water your lawn when necessary. And always check the weather before turning on those sprinklers.
Save water, save money, and score big. It's a win-win.
Whether you're on the field or at home, we're all on the same team. Florida's water. It's worth saving. This message brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Visit sjrwmd.com for more information.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans. And this week's game is brought to you by Hyundai. Get a great deal on a new Hyundai at Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit HyundaiUSA.com.
You can't get to 5-0 unless you get to 1, okay? All right, so, hey, check the box. Check the box. We got to go back to work, though. We got another one coming next week. Hey, it just keeps rolling, okay? But I'm so proud of you guys for the way you work, the way you hang together, through highs, through lows, adversity, whatever it is, through injury. It takes every single one of us. So my hat's off to you. Great job. But before we go, we got to get it back, okay? We got to get it back. So you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Duval's back. Haven't heard it in a minute. It is nice to hear it.
Good to see the energy from the coach, too, right? I mean, we talk all the time about what a struggle it can be, and you see the players and the coach, but for him yesterday, it was nice to see that.
Winning's better than losing.
Winning
I've heard
is
that.
always better than losing. Also, get ready for this week's game because I mentioned it's brought to you by Hyundai, but it's also throwbacks once again.
That will bring a lot of energy.
I love the uniforms.
People
I know John
do.
loves it. Always.
What number will you wear on Sunday?
Number what?
Numero
uno. I love it. All right, stay with us this week. We'll tell you a little bit about the Jets later in the week and what the Jags are going to be doing.